Vegas doesn't do boring, and neither do the A's. Today on Locked On A's.
You are Locked On A's, your daily podcast on the Athletics, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On A's, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I am your host, lifelong A's fan, Booney. One name, all passion. Today's episode is brought to you in part by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. We are free and available wherever you get your podcast, including YouTube. So do me a favor and smash that subscribe button right now, wherever you are following the show. And if you are in Nevada, catch Locked On A's Monday through Friday at 12:30 p.m. on Silver State Sports and Entertainment, Digital Channel 5.2, and Cox Cable Channel 77. Joining me today for part two of our A's Report Card series is none other than special guest and lifelong A's fan, Salty Tom, coming to us from Salt Lake City. Yeah, that's right, Salt Lake City, home of fry sauce, high altitude, and now the loudest A's fan this side of the Rockies. He's back, he's caffeinated, and he's ready to argue about Luis Morales' ERA like it's a matter of national security. Last week, we had our buddy Aaron Cameron on the show, and together we broke down 7 A's players with all the precision of a late night bar debate. You can see those grades scrolling below if you're watching on YouTube because, yeah, we're fancy like that now. From Nick Kurtz to Jacob Wilson, Aaron and I handed out A's, B's, and a couple of what the hell happened there grades that still have comment sections throwing elbows. Now, if you are wondering how we cooked up these grades, here's the secret sauce. We looked at 5 key categories for pitchers: ERA, WHIP, strikeout to walk ratio, opponent average, and XWOBA, which basically tells you how hard the ball was hit off a guy. For hitters, we looked at batting average, slugging percentage, OPS, on-base percentage, and defense. Each category got a letter grade. We converted that into a GPA, and boom, baseball meets math class. You can thank my calculator and 2 pots of coffee for the grading curve. We call it the Booney scale. Scientifically unverified, but emotionally accurate. Tonight, we're taking it a step further. Salty Tom and I are breaking down the second wave of player grades. Tyler Soderstrom, Luis Morales, Jacob Lopez, Jeffrey Springs, and a few more names that made 2025 one of the most fun and frustrating seasons in A's history. From Morales' 100 mph heaters to Soderstrom's Gold Glove glow up. This is the kind of show that will make you laugh, debate, grab a drink, buckle up, and let's hand out some grades like the green and gold professors we are. We hop right into the action with Tyler Soderstrom's report card, who started off absolutely on fire this year, if you remember. I mean, it was power galore. And then he went in a huge slump. And then towards about the second half, the last 80 games, 60 games, I would say, 60 to 80 games, just was on fire. Average, I got him into A-, on OPS A-, slug B+, on base percentage B+, and defense B+. 3.45. High, low, about right.
Before I break down the individual categories, overall, I give Soderstrom an A. I am thrilled with how he did, and I'm thrilled he turned himself into a Gold Glove candidate in left field.
Yeah.
So what a fantastic season for Soderstrom. Average, yeah, he had like 280. 280. And that is no small feat in today's swing and miss season. So yeah, I can see. I mean, I think more B+. I mean, he wasn't really a 300 hitter, but yeah, A-, I'm okay with it. Slugging was fantastic. I see him being a 280, 30 home run, 100 RBI guy. And so, just that combination of on base and average, I think A- is good there. I would give slugging B plus on B plus. Defense, I'd give defense an A. So yeah, my only qualm is I think defense would be a little tough on him.
Yeah, he was surprised defensively, wasn't he?
He was great, and now you got Soderstrom in left, who finally solves our everyday left field problem. Potentially Clark in center, and as you know, a lot of our issues have been defense related. So it's kind of nice to see things work themselves out.
Sure. One of our new free agent pitchers, wasn't a free agent. We picked him up in the Joe Boyle trade. Jeffrey Springs. Here was his numbers. I got him ERA C plus, walks hits, whip, walks hits divided by innings pitched a B, K to base on balls ratio a C, average against a B, and then his XWOBA, which is basically if there was no defense around, there was no the park didn't matter. Basically, the contact, how quality the contact was against him.
Jeffrey Springs, he before coming to the A's had incredible ratios, great whip, great ERA, great stuff. And then he and Severino looked great in Seattle on the road.
They sure did. That first 2 games, yeah.
Yep. And then we came home to Sacramento. We hadn't gotten a feel for our kind of bandbox ballpark yet. And the Cubs just
stuck it to us.
Damaged the pitchers and just went to town.
Yeah.
And I think he and Severino both had to learn how to pitch at home. Now, towards the middle of the season, he had a great run. Did he have like a great August, I believe, where he went like 5-1 or whatnot? So it's definitely there. I have no qualms with these grades. I expect more from him next year now that he's gotten used to the home ballpark. I think he would be disgusted by his C plus ERA. I think he's better than that.
Yeah.
But when it comes to just the hard and fast, he only had like a 4.8 ERA or 4.5.
No, he was low. Yeah, it was 4.2, I think it was.
Yeah, 4.2 is not terrible.
Yeah, it's not terrible. It's a little bit above average.
It's okay for like a number 3 pitcher, right?
Yeah.
Maybe even number 2 pitcher. He was okay with whip. He was okay. Yeah, he was okay. He was okay in the averages. So hence I could see the Bs. But yeah, I feel like next year he's going to be 3.99 or better in the ERA category.
Now, the other part that came over in that Joe Boyle trade to me was the most surprising of the season, and that was Jacob Lopez. NFL season is back, and honestly, there's nothing better than being in the stadium surrounded by fans cheering on your team. But let's be honest, getting tickets can be a hassle. Between queues, login screens, and prices jumping at checkout, it's frustrating. That's why I use Game Time, the app that gives the advantage back to the fans. Game Time is fast, easy, and backed by the Game Time guarantee. You will always get 100% authentic tickets delivered on time and at the best price. Plus, all fees are included. So the price you see is the price you pay. I pulled up Game Time, and in just a couple of taps, I saw amazing deals. I'm talking about your favorite NFL games as low as $100. The app made it super simple. I could even see the exact view from my seat before buying. I love zone deals as well. Pick the section. Game Time picks the seats and you save big. Honestly, it's faster, cheaper, and less stressful than any other way I have bought tickets. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's promo code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download Game Time today. Jacob Lopez was a pleasant surprise. He had a streak this year, I believe, of 26 consecutive scoreless innings. His first start of the year wasn't the best in Texas. He was erratic with his control and command, but when he really figured that out, he was almost unhittable. ERA, I had him C+, whip C+, K base on ball ratio B-. Here's what really got me. Average against. People had a real hard time squaring them up. B+, and the XWOBA B+. 2.75 overall GPA for 2025.
Reminds me of my GPA.
I would marry at 2.75. Jesus.
Just like Soderstrom, I think Lopez. I was thrilled with Lopez, and I would grade his overall season as a huge success. And the end results. Yeah, he had sort of an inflated ERA and WHIP, but his K per 9 was over 9, wasn't it?
Yes.
And, And so let's think about this. If we can make Jacob Lopez like our 4 or 5 starter, then that means we have a better back of the rotation than most teams.
Who would be our third? Who would be our third starter?
I mean, obviously we got the 2 veterans, and then Morales.
They're going to go 1-2. Yeah.
Well, I'm super high in Morales. Matter of fact, I want to say publicly on this show. So this past season, Kurtz and Wilson went number 1 and number 2 in Rookie of the Year. There is a realistic shot that next year, Morales and DeVries in either order could also go 1-2.
You think DeVries will be ready next year?
I think he's going to hit his way onto the team by like June. And I think after 4 months, hitting 290 with 20 home runs. Yeah, I think he and Morales could really finish high in Rookie of the Year voting.
Yeah, I think DeVries is going to have that same path to start with as Kurtz did last year. And if he tears it up in Vegas like Kurtz did, I'll be surprised if DeVries doesn't start the year in AAA. And if he tears it up that first 25, 30 games, there's no reason not to bring him up, Speaking of – go ahead.
Sorry, if I could real quick. He's shown a pattern where the first 10 games he'll struggle, but then like the next 10 to 20, he'll be absolutely out of his mind. I watched the AA Midland playoffs.
Yeah, he looks smart.
His swing is like Will Clark smooth.
Yeah.
In fact, the first at bat I watched, he hit the ball out of the stadium. Like he was batting right. He's a switch hitter too.
Yeah,
and so he just looks different from the other players.
Speaking of Morales, Luis Morales, ERA. He was good with his ERA, A-, WHIP, B+. He got in trouble at times with his control. K base on ball, a D, average against, A-. He got squared up every now and then, and he got a C for the XWOBA. You're high on Morales. What do you think of him when he was up? Are these grades about right? Too low, too high?
Yeah, obviously control issues, especially early on. So I think especially the K per walk is fair at a D. But I am super high in Morales. Matter of fact, he is one of our keys.
Yes,
the team can hit. So hitting is set. Now we have to pitch. And I see if Morales can be a top 1 or 2 pitcher, because he's got the stuff. He can hit 100. He's living around 98. He's got movement. And for example, I put him on my fantasy team, and he helped me finish in the money. He was a league winner for me at the end. I love you, Morales. If I ever see you, I owe you a Coke. So now, let me ask you this. Do you feel his control got better the last 4 or 5 starts?
100%. Yeah, he looked dynamite at times. He was phenomenal. When he did get hit, it would always seem to be just one inning where he was getting hit and gave up runs in a bunches when he did get hit. But there was times where he looked dominant. Let me ask you this. Could you see Luis Morales in the closer role?
No, please no. What a waste. I mean, he would do great.
Right.
But it is hard to find a great starting pitcher.
Yes.
And he's got the stuff. And you saw the in-season improvements he made, just similar to Jacob Wilson. I expect Morales to at least be a number 2 starting pitcher.
I'm excited to see what he could bring to the table next year for sure. The rotation I have right now is Severino and Springs because you're paying them. I got Lopez right now as my 3 guy. He was just that good for me.
Yeah.
I got Morales as the 4. And right now, if I'm going to stick somebody in the 5 slot, I think it's 3 guys going for 1 slot. And if I was to put them in order as far as who I like, it's Jack Perkins, JT Ginn, and Brady Basso for that 5th spot.
That's my order
as
well. Now, let me say this. If Luis Morales is our number 4 starter, I think we have the 4th starter in baseball. Not in the Dodgers, or at least in our division, if not the league. So, I'm super high in Morales. And I feel like Morales, Jamie Arnold, and Gage's jump, could potentially give us a 3-headed monster that the rest of the division does not want to see.
You want to go out and get a stopper?
You know what? I mentioned I have a lot of faith in Perkins. He looked great in the bullpen.
He sure did, didn't he?
Yeah.
I like Hogan Harris a lot too. I've always been high on him.
Absolutely. I've always loved Hogan Harris. I always wonder why he wasn't in the rotation when we desperately needed it.
He's always gotten the short end of the stick. He's always gotten the short end of the stick, man. He had a hell of a spring training. One of the best spring trainings in all the pitching. And then the opening weekend, he walks a couple guys and Kase doesn't give him another shot. Yeah. I always felt he never has gotten his full shot, but whatever.
However, how fantastic is it that at the trade deadline, we trade Mason Miller, arguably the best reliever in baseball, and our bullpen only gets better. Unbelievable. And we get Leo DeVries out of it. Looking at Hogan Harris, like as a closer once in a while, he was hitting 97. He looked like freaking Sean Doolittle, lefty hitting 97.
He sure did, man. That's who he reminded me of. Sean Doolittle.
He had the poise of Brett Anderson. The moment's not too big for him. So let me ask you this. Who do you see? Let's say we don't sign a big, free agent closer. Who would you like to see as closer?
Hogan Harris.
Me too. I
would like now in a perfect world, what I want to see what I would like to see is I would like to see Ginn be that guy. But we just see so much inconsistency from Ginn. I still feel like Ginn has the best stuff. His movement on his ball's awesome.
Unbelievable.
And I'd like to see Perkins take over that closer role. I think he'd be ideal for a closer. I think he has the makeup to be a closer. So in a perfect world, that's what I'd like to see.
Yeah, I'm with you. I like Hogan Harris best as closer. However, how nice is it to have 2 dominant lefties with him and Newcomb, like for those critical innings getting to the closer?
What do you think of Carlos Cortez? He had a hell of a year. He could play some infield too.
Carlos Cortez has this beautiful, quiet swing. I adopted his swing in my weekend beer league baseball team. I have a Carlos Cortez righty swing. It's just open, it's quiet, and he just
I love
now,
that.
Where did he come from? Because he wasn't a huge prospect.
He was the 3rd round pick from the Mets. And he was a big time prospect from South Carolina. He played in the SEC. He just the Mets didn't like him because he didn't have any power. He didn't have any power whatsoever. They waived him. A's picked him up. And I remember in spring training, I didn't know who he was. I knew he was from South Carolina. And I remember, I've never seen a guy hit in more bad luck. He hit everything on the nose. And he ended up being like 1 for 20 in spring training. They sent him down and he got off to a super slow start in Vegas. And then after his first 15, 20 games, he just took off.
Let me ask you this. We know infield is still a huge question mark. Carlos Cortez plays infield and he's a switch hitter.
He could throw with both hands, yeah.
Yeah,
he's not a switch hitter. He's a switch thrower.
A switch thrower. Heaven forbid, we know Law Butler's in right field this year. We know Clark's in center, Sody's in left. What if Cortez sneaks in and takes second base or third base?
I think Cortez can take second. I don't think he can play third.
Hey, second base sounds good to me. Yeah, what if he takes second and then now we have Harris and Muncy battling out at third base?
I love that. Now, is he a good enough fielder to play second? We haven't seen enough, right? We haven't seen enough, but can he be serviceable? I would imagine so.
You can't be worse than Urias. Sorry, Arias. No offense.
He has had a few big hits for us here or there.
I just meant defensively.
Yeah, defensively wasn't good. No.
His range, was not fantastic.
You think Salt Lake's going to get an expansion team?
I think they would, because they've checked every box. They have an ownership group. They have a location.
They have the money.
They have all the political backing. They have $900 million already set aside.
Yeah, right.
So they literally have everything. Plus, the area's growing. A lot of people are migrating from other states. And plus, people show up. People show up to the Jazz, to BYU, to the new Mammoth team. And so, yeah, I think they're a no-brainer.
I do too.
Yeah, I see them. I mean, I do give Portland credit. They have raised public funds and they have renderings and whatnot. I don't know if they have like an ownership group yet. I saw the Sacramento's trying to make a little bit of noise, but they don't. They're so far behind.
I think it's just gonna for me. It's gonna come down to people may like it or don't like it or whatever it may be, but it's how the game's played. Whoever has the most public money for a new stadium is the city that's going to get.
And everyone says that Nashville and Charlotte are shoo-ins. The mayor of Nashville actually said some comments saying, like, you know what, this isn't like a sure thing. Like, like the money isn't necessarily there. I wonder if maybe if they get two new teams, if maybe the two Western teams, like a Salt Lake and Portland.
I think it'll be. I think Salt Lake and Portland. I think Salt Lake to me is one, and I think everybody else is a distant second.
So, is there potentially a team that could relocate to one of these places, like a Miami or a
Orlando, maybe?
Yeah, or Tampa.
Like another. You're talking about like the. I don't think so.
You don't think so? You think the White Sox, Marlins, and Tampa Bay Rays are all pretty settled?
Yeah, I think so.
I would so the Marlins have a brand new ballpark, so I would normally not give them a second thought, but they do not draw.
They don't draw at all
in a brand new ballpark.
That's crazy.
They have a pretty young fun. They have a young fun team.
Yeah,
they
do.
Stowers with that grand slam off Miller. Yeah, they've got some players over there.
Yeah, no, it's a good point you make. I mean, Miami's just such a major city, man. Just such a major city. Interesting. I don't know. I don't see that happening. Yeah, it is a brand new stadium. Miami's still big, but they're not really passionate about anything. Miami doesn't seem like, they're not passionate about any sport. They're not high on their football. They're not high on their baseball. I mean, obviously, when the Heat had it going on, they were pretty big time, but shoot.
Oh, man. The Marlins, they should sell their stadium to like a Major League Soccer franchise and then relocate to either Salt Lake or Portland. Yeah. I hate to be that guy, but yeah, they have this beautiful ballpark. They're not selling it out. They have a young, fun team, and they made the playoffs like 2 years ago. They're not that far removed from an actual playoff run.
Arizona Fall League. Max Muncy, 8 for 32. Hitting 250, struck out 9 times. Tommy White had a huge game where he went 3 for 6, 2 home runs, a grand slam, 7 RBIs. Here's what's crazy about Tommy White. Tommy White has 7 hits in the Fall League. He's 7 for 37. Those 7 hits came in 3 games. And those 12 RBIs came in 2 games. So when he's gone right, he has gone right. The kid that's been tearing it up is Ryan Lasco, who was a second-round pick in 2023, is tearing it up, hitting like 370, 15 for 41, 3 doubles, 5 RBIs, 3 stolen bases. He's doing a little bit of everything. Pitching. No one's pitching. I don't even want to talk about the pitching. Everyone's getting showed. Mark Adamiak from Arkansas is doing okay. But everything else, everybody, all other 4 pitchers we got down there, Blake Pontas from Hawaii, Will Johnston, Nathan Detmer, Corey Avant are all getting rocked. So that's kind of what's going on. in Arizona. Joshua Kuroda-Grauer, keep an eye on him. He's also from Rutgers, 2024 third-round pick, is doing okay, up and down. Nothing crazy. The guy I wanted to really see tear it up and make his mark is Max Muncy. He hasn't done so. So I am concerned a little bit about infield. On tomorrow's show, I'm going to cover a little bit on who's possibly available that we could possibly pick up as a free agent in the offseason. They're talking about, an Isaiah Khalifa deal from who's playing for Toronto as kind of the guy we can afford and that sort of thing. Like, what's that going to do?
Yeah, for me, I'd rather see development next year over trying to make a playoff push. I don't know if I want to see veterans play next year. If they bring over, Isaiah Khalifa,
yeah,
and he's blocking, Brett Harris or Max Muncy.
I agree. I'm with you. I don't want to see that either. In a city built on risk and reward, the A's are stacking chips higher than the strip itself, turning the heat of the desert into the fuel for baseball's next great dynasty. Thank you for making Locked On A's your first listen every day. For your second listen, find the all-night Locked On MLB Game Night every game, every night until a World Series champion is crowned. Get local analysis on a national scale. Find MLB Game Night on Locked On MLB on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcasts.